They're all coming in now. You can begin.
Great. Looks like the students are settling in.
Good day, ladies.
Hello.
I'm going to mute everybody else, and then Gitu, when you're ready to speak, you'll have to unmute yourself, okay?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Katongo. Please let us know when you are ready. We will kick off once you're ready.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Just a minute.
Thank you. No problem.
I think we can start.
Thank you, Mr. Katongo. Do we have Sister Chaleshe and Mrs. Mboshi in the room as well?
I cannot see my image. Can you guys see my image from your side?
No, sorry, your video is off.
Oh, Very strange. Still. Okay, I will go out and log in again, hey?
Okay, okay, thanks.
No idea why.
I'm just waiting for confirmation from Mr. Katongo that Mrs. Mboshi is in the room. Hello, Sister Chileshe.
Yes, yes, please. Good afternoon, or rather, good morning and good evening.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Good afternoon to you as well.
Thank
Is
you.
Mrs. Mboshi in the room and ready to go before we kick off?
Unfortunately, Mrs. Mbosh won't make it.
Okay.
She has some family emergency.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
So I might have to say maybe one or two things just at the beginning, very little.
Yes, great. I will hand it off to you here in a minute. So if everybody is ready at this point, I can go ahead and kick off.
Okay. Now we're having a little bit of difficulty with the volume, but Mr. Katongo is trying to work on that.
Okay, okay. I will
Okay, but let me just find out from the girls. Can you hear? Oh, if you try and speak,
Hello,
just
everyone.
to test out the volume.
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear anything? They're saying no.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's see. D2, if you can try again, please.
Yes, sure. Hello, everyone.
They heard you, but
Oh, great.
yeah, oh, not so much, but they did hear something.
Okay. Is it coming through very faint or it's not coming through at all? Do you hear
I
something?
think when you move forward, it's not bad. When you move forward towards your laptop or whatever.
I can hear clearly. I don't, maybe it could be that they don't have a microphone or a loudspeaker. Maybe you have to use a loudspeaker.
And that's what we are trying to do. Mr. Katongo is in the process of doing that. I'm looking
All
at
right,
the
because,
Go ahead.
yeah, because I'm using my laptop and I can hear clearly. I can hear the hostess very clearly. So maybe it's a technical fault at your side.
No, like
Thank you.
since you see, maybe because you are alone, but here are the girls behind me. So I can hear you clearly, but on account of the
Right.
girls.
Right, right. Okay. So maybe let's give Mr. Katongo a minute to see if we can get that speaker working.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Great, thank you so much. Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. I'm very excited to be here and I'm just absolutely looking forward to diving into today's content and agenda. But just before we do that, as an official kickoff for this event, Caring for Caritas, and our theme, which is Inspiring the Future, I would like to give Sister Chileshe a chance to say a few words. She has been an integral part of the V team and the team that's been working on putting this event together. And I would just like her to kick this off event for us. So Sister Chileshe, if you could please say a few words to kick the event off.
She has just gone out. Maybe you can proceed. She'll come and say something. She has just gone out.
That sounds good. So while we're waiting for Sister Chileshe, I'll just quickly introduce myself. So thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to be here today. And thank you everyone for taking the time to join this event. My name is Gitu Mishra. I am a Caritas alumni, just like many of you, and I'm super happy to be here moderating this event today. There are two main reasons that we are launching this conference series. Number one being, of course, inspiring our future. And our future is you, the graduating class 12 this year. And we're looking forward to sharing with you our stories, our learnings from when we graduated from Caritas to where we are today. And we hope that this will inspire you. And the number two reason that we are launching this series is to raise funds for our beloved school. We believe that together we can join forces to really help the future of our school. So I'm super excited to be here. I know my fellow speakers are very excited to be here as well. And we look forward to getting into the content with you. So we will be together for 2 hours today, and just get comfortable. It's going to be an exciting time. You're going to learn a lot. And please think of questions as we go through and talk through our content, because you will have an opportunity to ask us questions as well. So we do want to make this interactive. And the idea is for all of us to learn together from each other's experiences and take away key messages that we can apply into our lives. So I'm very hopeful that you will enjoy this. You will learn a lot, and we will have some fun together. So on that note, is Sister Chilesha back?
Yes, please, I'm back.
Great. Well, Sister Chilesha, thank you so much for all the effort that you have put into making this event come to life. We are super grateful for your time and attention to this. I would love for you to please say a few words to kick this event off.
Okay. So thank you very much, Gitu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So thank you very much. So on behalf of the head mistress, Mrs. Mboshi, it's unfortunate that she can't be here with us now because she has some family emergency. So I just want to welcome everybody to this conference, a conference organized by the ex-Caritas, you ex-Caritas, on the theme of inspiring the future. Thank you for all the work that you have done. And indeed, the girls who are right behind me are very happy to be here. And I'm also privileged in the sense that I have an ex-Caritas sitting beside me, Elizabeth. So it is a privileged time for us to be here. So thank you for making this a reality and a possibility. Thank you too. I can't see many other attendants, but I'm assuming that they are behind the scene. So we are also looking forward to this exciting time. So thank you for giving us the opportunity as a school to say something. Thank you. Over to you, Gertrude.
Great. Thank you, Sister Chilesha. So, just for everyone's information, I'm a program director at Microsoft. And what that essentially means is I think about how technology can help businesses. And my focus is in internal programs to help our field sellers serve our customers better. And as you can see, technology is a very integral part of our lives. We are here together, joined by technology, and we're all sitting in different parts of the globe. We're in different parts and different time zones, but we're here together speaking to you. And that is the true power of technology, when we can be together without physical barriers. So that's a little bit about me. And I am in Seattle, Washington, but my journey started exactly in those same seats where you are, in the assembly hall. And I have some very fond memories of that assembly hall and all the Thursday assemblies we did in there. So I'm super happy to see all of you sitting in those seats. On that note, I would like to introduce to you our event host, Jackie Bailey. She is a 4-time author. She is the founder of the Speak Feed Lead project. which is a nonprofit organization that helps teens, youth, and adults become confident speakers so they can share their message and be change makers in the world. She is an award-winning international speaker herself, a leader and an educator, and just an outstanding human being. She is donating her time, her platform for this cause, and that should say a lot about her as a person. And so, Jackie, I would like to give you my heartfelt gratitude for doing this for us. I know that the students and the Alumni Association are very, very grateful for your time and a platform. If you could please say a few words to us.
Gitu, thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. I know you feel that it's a service to you, but I'm actually looking forward to being filled with the spirit of all of the girls there at Caritas, all of the leaders, the teachers, those who have put so much time and effort into shaping the future of these students. I love to know when children's voices are being heard and when they're being emphasized and spotlighted. And today is one of those occasions. And I'm grateful for that. As a young girl, I was silenced. And I know that in a lot of places throughout the world, there are children and especially women being silenced. And on an occasion like this, when you have an ability and opportunity to share your voice, it's so important that you do, that you take advantage of that. So I am delighted to be here today and to use any platform I have to your advantage so that we can spotlight the wonderful things going on at Caritas. So I hope that everything will run smoothly. I'm going to do my best to make sure that it does for everybody to have an enjoyable experience today. So thank you for allowing me to do this.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. All right. Next, I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Sibu Moyo. She is, of course, a ex-Caritas alumni, but has, of course, done wonderful things, one of which being that she is the Vice Chancellor of Stellenbosch University and leading the Research and Innovation program at the university. And what is amazing about Sibu is that she has a PhD in mathematics and education, a master's in education from Melbourne, Australia. And she does all of this while being a devoted wife, mother, and an advocate for women in science, technology, and mathematics. So I, without further ado, would like to give Sibu a chance to open and kick off our speaker series here. Thank you, Sibu, first of all, for making the time to do this with us. We are very, very excited and proud of you, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Gitu, and also, the organizers of this conference. I want to acknowledge, of course, Sister Chileshe and the head mistress in her absence, and all the colleagues, the fellow panelists who are here. It gives me great pleasure. I think I just calculated that it has been 35 years since I was last at the school, before I took off to do quite a number of things later on. So from my side, I think the first thing I just want to say is that I think this is really a great initiative, because what we have noticed, I think, just looking at the higher education landscape within Africa, within South Africa, and also other countries, when you compare, the alumni networks are very strong. And those are what really help the schools and also future generations of people that are training in those schools to also have access to, resources, and make sure that we use that network to leverage on opportunities also for employment and apprenticeships and so on. So I'm really excited about that. So my journey myself, I mean, I studied at the school, and I remember during our time in the early 1980s, it was quite interesting because we had a large number of sisters. We used to do interesting stuff. I mean, I was a prefect at that time, I remember. So I tried to follow the rules. So I'm basically being a follower of rules for many years. And so it gives me great pleasure actually to serve as a leader and as well as, somebody who can also follow at times if I have to learn something. So what I wanted to do today is to quickly and get through your with your permission. I just wanted to share maybe 1 or 2 slides. I think that I should probably do that so that I just give a sense of the colleagues who are there, to also the future grade 12s who will become leaders, to have a sense of what we are doing. Just confirm if you're able to see my slides. Are you able to see them?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I can.
So this is where I am currently, and I think just moving here, if you look at the trees and the environment, it really gives me a great sense of appreciation of the many things that we do as leaders in our communities, and also understanding where we come from. And I just want to, I don't want to go so much into details because I only have 5 minutes, but the one thing I wanted to emphasize to our grade 12s is that in whatever you do, I think the issue around values really matter. I do see there's a hand up from Martha. I don't know if that is an issue. Martha's a hand up. Martha Mbewe.
Martha, did you have a question, or is that accidental?
Okay, so I'll just continue. Yeah, I'll continue.
Please.
So the issue around values is very important, because in whatever you do, whether you are preparing to write an exam, whether you are trying to, think about what am I going to do today, when you wake up, how you plan your day, how you execute that day, has to do a lot with ethics and also the commitment that you have as a person. So this table for me in my current environment also helps me a lot when I'm looking back and also looking forward. And the abbreviation I use is E-care, as a small e and then care, to care for someone. So the E there really meaning, talks about equity. So in our case where I am, for example, we, if you know the history of South Africa, a lot of issues around transformation I challenge, representation of women, how we treat others, gender sensitivity, people who have different sexual orientation and so forth. There are quite a number of issues. So equity comes in as something we look at. Compassion is key. And we know that, being in such a square convent, I mean, the issue around when we talk about our values, religion, and also, being compassionate to others, also helps you to think about, what your commitment is and what you can do to solve some of the critical issues within our environment, whether it's in your home environment, your community, because those do help you later. And then the other part is, when you talk about accountability, so, you can't start blaming other people if you yourself as an individual are not committed to what you want to do. So for example, it is grade 12. You might be thinking about, what am I going to study? And obviously you have to plan your time, but you can find all sorts of excuses, by the way, why you can't achieve what you want to achieve, because as it is, life can be hard sometimes. So I think accountability for us is a very big area that we look at. Excellence in everything you do, no matter how small it is, the task, how small it is, making sure that you're really committed to that and trying to do it the best way that you can, no matter what happens. And then there's also respect, and it doesn't matter where you find yourself. Respect is so key for you to be, to pay attention to. So issues around values, integrity, work hard, all of those count, because they really help you from where you are and even when you go forward as well. And then, so the other part is that, when you think of yourself as individuals and, trying to excel, I always use a framework which has helped me actually in many ways. The first part is that, you have to have a plan for yourself. And if you go, for those of you who go to church or wherever you go, I think you probably hear this quite a lot around, what do you see? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? You need to have short-term targets and also long-term targets. And I think those are important to think about. Where do I see myself? And then making sure that in that journey, it's very important. So when we talk about strategy, my strategy, what's your strategy as an individual? And when you look at that, who are the people who can help you? So this framework I use for research, but it's also applicable to, individual development as well. Strategy, my vision, where do I see myself? How can I get there? What do I need to get there? Planning around that, you know, making sure that you can get mentors, people can help you. Mentors have really helped me. I'll just show you two, and then I'll probably stop to give others a chance as well. And then also resources. We know that sometimes if you need to study, do something, you do need the financial support, but you need to probably look out for opportunities and apply for funding, opportunities where you can get additional funding for that, and also monitoring your progress, because nobody else would do that for you. And I think maybe the other thing I just wanted to say was probably to show you a little bit like some of my mentors. And these slides, if you can see them, I'll skip them because you probably already have some of the information. I want to share this one. So mentors are very key. And in my lifetime, I've had great mentors, including my mother, whom passed away sadly from COVID. It's more than a year now. And it was, it was a big sort of transformational moment for me. So I learned from that as well. You know, I think we all go through different things. My mother was a great mentor. And then I've got, of course, my sisters, Mary Maureen, who also were at the same school. And also who really have supported me in many ways. My brother, my husband, you know, the family is set up as well. My brothers-in-law, really great mentors and support, especially when I had young kids and I needed to also do work. So they've always been there. But this lady, for example, Pumla, during the apartheid era, after apartheid, you know, she was one of the people who was involved in the Truth Reconciliation Commission and was helping people. And I think after that, after many years, she set up a center which deals with non-violence and trying to help people to come to terms with what they've done and trying to help them reform, and does research on that. She's a great mentor as well. So she helps me a lot. And she's a full professor here and the chair of historical trauma and transformation at the university. The other mentor that really helps me is this lady here. So if you knew about South Africa as well, the former president, Jacob Zuma, when he was going through the corruption trial, this is the lady who was in the forefront, who brought these things up around corruption, very brave. And of course, she talks about, I think, a key thing that I would like to leave you today, if you can't remember anything else. She does say that every generation has its great challenge. And then ours is around climate change and social justice. The two must be addressed together, and we must treat them both as an emergency. And for me, this is a critical point, actually, if you look at what our main challenges, climate change, but all of these challenges for us provide us an opportunity for doing something great. So when we graduate, do we just want to work for somebody, or do we see an opportunity for social entrepreneurship, or like what Getu says, in terms of technology, what can help our communities or solve particular issues? Renewable energy is one of the biggest challenges we have. I mean, I don't know how things are now in Zambia, but in South Africa, we normally get these blackouts, and it's a big issue. It affects a lot of people. But what opportunity do we see as contributing to that? So I'll stop here, but really to thank you that I wish that every person, of course, can really have the courage and the resilience to really, persevere in what you want to do. And also through this network, that you can use it to find support, that you can, link up with people who can help you, even just to progress or know what other opportunities are there. So I'm looking forward to the discussions, Getu, and I think I'll stop there. And just to congratulate you and the team, for putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sibu. That was very powerful. Really appreciate that. A couple of key takeaways that I just want to share with everyone that I took away from this. I think, being ex-Caritas alumni and students, one thing I will say is I know that the Caritas school itself taught us some very strong core values, and that has certainly in many ways stayed with me throughout the years as I have gone on to do different things in my life. So as we go into the future and as we look to determine where we want to go, I think it's important to find our core values and stick to them, and really make sure that we are using those to our advantage. The second thing that Sibu said that I just want to call out is mentors. And I want to point this out in particular because here you see close to 80 or 100 people on between the call, the people in the room. And all of us collectively can mentor each other, whether you're an alumni, whether you're a current student, we're all a big happy family and we can help each other. And I think this is something that is one of the main reasons we're launching this event series, because we want to know what's happening in our community, who needs help, how can we help each other. So if we can please just remember that at all times, that you have the power of this community behind you as you go on to do things in life, as you plan your future. We're here for you. We're all in this together and we want to drive growth for each one of us. So that was a very key, important takeaway for me, Sibu. The third thing is just how I like the fact that you said dreaming big and challenges are just steps along the way. Of course, there will be challenges, but that's what we, the community, are here for. And having a big vision and sticking to your values will help us build a path forward. So thank you so much, Sibu. That was very, very powerful and I really, really appreciate it. So moving on, I would love to introduce our next speakers on the panel discussion, and then we will go into a panel. But as we are doing this, I'm going to take a pause and see if there are any questions in the hall from the students before I proceed. Mr. Katongo, if you can confirm if there are any questions, or should we proceed?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So girls, any questions? Not yet.
Okay, all right. So we will proceed, and I will welcome our next speaker. All right. So our next speaker is Sarah Luele Njamu. She is the CEO and founder of CompuConnect Education, based in Johannesburg. It is one of the leading IT consulting and people development company. She is also a global podcast host called the Africa Tech Conversation. She was recently just featured on our own Zambian national TV, but has also been featured on the SABC channel on Africa Radio. She's an established tech professional in the Johannesburg community. She's also a multiple award nominee and winner. And she's doing all of this while being a devoted wife and mother of 3. I've had the pleasure of working with her in the last few months in putting this event together. And what I can tell you is that Sarah is a powerhouse. There's no task too small or large for her. She can handle anything that you throw at her, and she's just full of amazing inspiration and ideas. Sarah, I'd love to welcome you to say a few words. Please go ahead, Sarah, you're on mute. You're on mute. Can you hear us? Sarah, are you there? Can you hear us? I see you're speaking, but I don't hear you. If you can please unmute. I apologize, Sarah. I am not able to hear you. Okay, as Sarah, maybe while Sarah is figuring out her audio, let me proceed, and we'll come back to Sarah just while I'll give her a minute to figure the audio issue out, and I'll just proceed. So while we're waiting for Sarah, I'd love to introduce to us Priscilla Nyambe, and a little story about Priscilla. So the first time I found out about what Priscilla is doing is through my father, who still lives in Kabwe. And he used to run into her because of what she was doing in her day job as a police officer in the Zambian Police Services. And as he heard about us preparing for this event, he mentioned Priscilla's name, and he said, "You must invite Priscilla to this event because she has an amazing story." And I got curious and I started asking the question. And of course, yes, Priscilla does have an amazing story. Most of us build one career and we work very hard at it. Priscilla is going to show us today how it's possible not only to build one career, but follow your dream and build another one. She started her career off as a police officer and has then gone on to get a degree in medicine and surgery, and is now the first female medical doctor in the Zambian Police Services. Wow, I'm amazed. So welcome, Priscilla. I would love for you to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so humbling to have people recognize you in such forums. As Gitu has introduced me, I'm Priscilla Nyambe, married with 3 kids. I'm currently working in the Zambia Police. My journey was not smooth. I just want to say a few things so that I encourage someone out there. I am coming from a very humble background. I think being in Kabwe, I'm sure you know where Katondo is. Someone else in the group posted that where you are coming from doesn't matter, but where you are going matters. I'm coming from a very humble background. I used to move from Katondo to Caritas. I witnessed people being driven to Caritas, but mine was different. The first thing that I want to encourage my students out there, please do not compare yourselves with others. Your family may not be equal to the next family. Just be focused. Just be focused and know what you want. I was not disadvantaged by being at Caritas. Caritas has done a lot to me. Actually, I'm here because of Caritas. I was at Caritas from 1992 to 1996. What I'm about to share may not be known by most of the people here. I am one of the beneficiaries that benefited from Caritas. I've been sponsored by Caritas. In grade 9, at one point, my parents could not afford paying my school fees. The Sisters of Charity came in to sponsor me so that I can fulfill my dream. I did not compare myself to others because what I got was equal to what a person coming from a rich family got. I realized that Caritas was the reason I am here. So it's so humbling to be here to share my story. I completed my school in 1996. And then because I didn't have sponsorship, my parents could not take me for tertiary education. I had to start work as a cleaner at ZNBC Studios. I worked for quite a long time there, from 1997, I think, to early 1999. From there, I decided to quit that job to go for greener pastures. I relocated from Kitwe and then went to Lusaka. But unfortunately, I did not find another job. So I decided to start helping my grandmother selling. I was selling tea and sample, maize sample. Those of you who know sample, maybe others do not know. I used to sell cooked sample. Then from there, that is where I met my destiny helper. It was not in my thought of becoming a police officer. I never thought I would become a police officer. Of course, from childhood, I had wanted to become a medical doctor. So when I saw that my parents could not afford to sponsor me, I decided to go for a course that was in line with medicine. So as I was selling there, I met this person who introduced me to Zambia police. But the first and the second time, I did not agree because I had nothing in me for Zambia police. There was, in short, I didn't want to become a police officer. But when that person mentioned and told me about the police officers, also that there is also a medical wing in the police service, I decided to join because I was encouraged that through that I can be sponsored, can go and do my courses. That's how I joined police. I joined police in 1999. And in 2000, I completed my course. It was not an easy course. It was hard, but I had to do that because I had no other choice. I had no other option apart from that. So when I joined police, I worked for 3 years from 2000 to 2003. And I applied to Chilonga School of Nursing to go and do my nursing. I completed my nursing in 2005, and I continued working with the Zambia police. I worked for a few years from 2006 to 2007. I'm still a constable in the Zambia police and a nurse. But after then, I upgraded. I went to do some other courses. As the previous speaker said, we need some mentors. I think most of my mentors may not have even known that they mentored me. One of the people that mentored me, we have another doctor from Caritas. I think I know about 2 doctors. We have Dr. Martha Mbewe and we've got Dr. Isabel Melek. When I was working as a nurse at Kabwe Mine Hospital, I bumped into Dr. Isabel Melek. I was giving medication and he came to review patient. So that made me feel very bad because I looked at the background. We are all receiving the same information, same education. And then now I questioned myself, why can I be? Why can I be where I am? If my fellow friend, who's Dr. Isabel Melek, was at Caritas, she's a doctor, and I got the same information. I think I need to do something. So she encouraged me. I didn't tell her. I think if she was hearing this, she was going to be surprised. I didn't tell her, but I felt bad. Something pained me within me. So I decided to start applying for my course as a medical doctor. The other time I bumped into Dr. Martha Mbewe as well when I was doing my counseling course at Chainama. She was a clinical officer by then. So I looked at myself, I said, we have a doctor who's Dr. Isabel Melek, and there's Dr. Martha Mbewe. By then she was a clinical officer. So I realized that I was in the wrong career, so to say, because I believed in myself and I knew that I could still do that. So I started applying, and when I applied at Apex, I was accorded the chance to train as a medical doctor. I started my journey. It wasn't an easy journey. Being a mother by then, I had 2 children. I was married and I was working. At that time, I was given a post of coordinating HIV. I was the coordinator for HIV in Central Province under Zambia Police. So I was getting quite some good money. So I looked at my position and I looked at the money that I was getting. At that point, I thought maybe I was comfortable, but when I looked back, I wanted to become a medical doctor and not a nurse. I had to forgo all those things and started at the same level. I started my medicine at Apex, and I found my senior there, Dr. Martha Mbewe, was already there, and she too encouraged me and told me that we are coming from Caritas, Priscilla. We can do it. If other people can do it, we can also do it. That's how I started my journey. I started in 2014, July. And we were supposed to have completed in 2021, but because of the COVID and everything else, we completed in 2022, and my graduation was in May 2023. Currently, I am the only female medical doctor in Zambia Police, and I'm the first one. I am happy. I did not look at my background. I looked at what I wanted to do. Being focused is what we need. As you are writing your grade 12, know what you want to do. Do not look at your fellow friends. Do not look at what others have. Be content with what you have. I was coming from a very background, very humble background. I was renting an apartment on my own, a one-room apartment in Katondo. And I knew what I wanted. If I had wanted, there were a lot of men out there who were after my life. I would have gone out with them, but I knew what I wanted to do. So my encouragement to you is to be focused, be principled, know what you want to do in life. Do not be intimidated by whoever, just be focused. You can do it. Caritas has given us a lot of things. They prepared us for whatever you can do. You can become anything. With the knowledge that we got from Caritas, we can become anything. I am so humbled to be part of this group. At least I can give out something to my Caritas. I benefited from Caritas, so I am willing to do that. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Priscilla. That was very, very powerful. Wow, I'm still amazed. I knew your story, but every time it blows me away. You know, a couple of things I just want to say before I go to the next speaker. I think, you know, for me, the thing that stuck with me is your ability to focus on your bigger vision for yourself, never giving up, being curious, asking questions, not letting the things in life that we often look at, such as being a mom or what background we come from, get in the way of dreaming big, having a focused vision and going after it. Those are very strong learnings that I'm taking away from this conversation. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Excited to have you on this panel and looking forward to continuing our discussion here as well. So let me see if Sarah, are you back? We would love to hear from you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome back. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you. That's technology for you. It will even bail out on experts, right?
Wouldn't be an event without it, Sarah. So please go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of this conversation. I am super, super excited. I'm one of the people that have been organizing this together with the other ladies. And yeah, when they asked me to be on the panel, I said, sure, I would love to share my story. So like the other speakers, you know, I started my high school in Caritas convent. And for me, I must say, it was a defining moment in my life. I was actually 13. I hadn't even turned 14 when I came to Caritas convent. And I'm one of those girls that now that I have the context that I have, that actually came from what can be called dysfunctional schools. So I remember in our times, you know, those schools that I attended, which was Natseko Site and Service, we hadn't had, you know, people that would qualify to come to Caritas convent. So we were among, you know, we're actually the second lot. So we had the first lot, just one girl that had qualified, and everybody just thought, you know, you don't select Caritas because you will not make the marks. But I had so much belief, and for me, there was just something about coming to Caritas convent. So when I was in grade 7, yeah, I selected, you know, Caritas convent to be the place where I wanted to go for high school. And, you know, voila, as, you know, luck and just grace may have it, when the results came, I had been selected to come to Caritas convent. And for me, I was not gonna let this opportunity go to waste or just pass me by. So coming into Caritas convent just gave me new confidence, obviously because of the environment that was so nurturing little girls. You know, the Sisters of Charity were just so given into pouring so much of themselves into the girls. You know, the teachers themselves. There was just a sense of feeling quite special when you attended Caritas Convent. And so for me, at that point, I resolved I was going to work hard and I was just going to give it my best shot. And so throughout my life at Caritas, really my life was defined by hard work. And I must also say, I was not a top student. And I think that's a very important conversation to also have. So I wasn't sitting on the top. But the one thing I can guarantee was that I was a very hardworking girl. And for me, I remained very committed to that. And one of the subjects that really gave me a lot of problems was mathematics. Literally at grade 9, I passed with a 4, which was like a 40 or something like that. I think it was a 40. I had a 4, yes. And even getting into grade 10, you know, my marks were really not that good for mathematics. But I came from a home that also really pushed on education. They believed in education. My dad was big on education. And I remember he kept saying, you know, without mathematics, you're not gonna do anything. And so by grade 11, I realized that I was in a bad space. I made a very big resolution to commit to studying mathematics on a daily basis. And let me tell you, by the end of that year, my marks had taken a turn. I was sitting to be one of the top students in mathematics, and I went on to study mathematics. So I didn't make it to get into university, but I went to a teaching college. So my career started as a high school maths teacher. And for me, I was quite passionate about mathematics, obviously, given my struggle and then making that 10, I just wanted to come back and impact other students, the students that were in the school system, to just embrace mathematics and just see it as a subject that, is doable for everyone. And for me also, being in an all-girls environment also gave me encouragement because, we had certain girls that were doing so well in mathematics. And my thing was, if they are girls like me and they're doing well, I shouldn't have an excuse. I should be able to do what these girls are doing. And so for me, I think being in an all-girls school, that was the best gift that came to me, that it allowed me not to have excuses in life. However, even though I did not go to university, I was set on excelling in my academics. So when I finished my teaching course, that was in 1998, I started teaching at an all-boys school in Kitwe. So I was a mathematics teacher at Mkuba Secondary School. I was not even 21. I was just about 20 when I had joined the teaching fraternity. But I loved the experience. I loved the fact that the boys were quite committed to just learning, and they had just a sense of seriousness about them. And then I got married, moved over to Botswana, and when I went to Botswana, I then found a job as a lecturer and as an ICT lecturer in a public higher education institution. And at that time, they were just rolling out ICT. And so I was also studying, married, little kid, studying. And I was in that institution for 5 years. And by the time, the 5 years came to an end, I had earned myself an MBA. And so it was time to move countries. So I moved to South Africa. And in South Africa, because now I had an MBA, I thought I wanted to do something outside the teaching career that I had built over the years. So the first job that I got was a software sales consultant. And for me, because I was coming from a teaching background and I was coming into a company that was an edutech, so we were basically distributing education software to schools and to the government. For me, it was a matter of passion because I could see how technology can impact a learner's life. So as a result, I did so well in that company as a salesperson selling education software. Because of my teaching background, I was in top sales there. And after a while, I thought it was time for me to start my own business. And so in 2008, I launched out. I started my own company, and our company started as an education software distribution company. And so we distributed education software to the private sector, to the private schools, and to the government. But over the years, we have evolved as a business. And now, yes, we still distribute our education software to schools, but we also distribute artificial intelligence solutions. We distribute robotic process automation. We also develop skills of the future. So we speak to the banks and we go in and we train their people with skills of the future. And yeah, I love what I do. Like Gitu said, you know, I host a podcast because I remain a teacher at heart. And so I believe in knowledge sharing. And for me, the message to the girls is commit yourselves to the cause of education, because education is truly a game changer. You know, I came from a place where we didn't even have electricity. So in the night, you know, I studied with, you know, the light with paraffin, because candle was even a luxury, okay? But on Saturdays, you know, I went out. I would actually walk all the way from, you know, I lived in Kabdula. So Kabdula is a shanty compound beyond the site and service, okay? And that's where that's where I lived, that's where I grew up. But on Saturdays, I knew in the morning, I walked all the way to convent to come and sit in the quietness of space with my other friends, and we studied because I knew that my game changer was just the education. So for those who are coming from disadvantaged background, let not your background define you. You make a decision to commit to working so hard. You're so privileged to attend an excellent school that really supports girls, that helps girls believe in themselves, and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Now, you know, I am grateful that I am on the global platform. I speak at global conferences, you know, speaking about IT. A little girl that came to convent, a little girl that came from a disadvantaged background, as you know, people would see it. But you know, the fact that I had great education, I had a great support system, both at home and in the school environment, which Caritas Convent just provided for me. You know, as a young girl, I've been able to achieve, you know, things that are beyond what I could have imagined. So I think this is about inspiring. It's about inspiring the girls to work hard. And if you're an average student, let that not define you, okay? You know, it's how life is how you finish, okay? It's not how you start. So yes, there are people who are gifted, and that's excellent. But for some of us who are average, our game is to just work hard and commit, and you will achieve whatever, you know, you put your mind to. Thank you so much.
Wow, Sarah, I would like to just differ on one point. You are not average by any means. Definitely not average. And a couple of key takeaways that I just want to share with everyone. So take your challenges head on. I'm not good at math. I'm just going to go become a math professor. If that's not inspiring, I'm not sure what is. That was beautiful, just amazing. So you know, this is the mantra of the whole conference: inspiring the future, inspiring all of us, even the alumni who are on this platform today. I mean, the fact that you said, who says I can't do math? If my peers can do it, I'm going to go do this. that is inspiring itself to me. Hard work pays off, education is key, and I think anything is possible if we put our minds to it. So I think that was just wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I would like to move to our next speaker, and just I would like to just share my screen real quick here. So as I'm going in, so our next speaker is also, of course, another Caritas alumni, and she equally has a very powerful story, and it's none other than Charity Mulenga. And Charity, this morning I woke up and I was preparing to come to this event. I went on my phone, I was looking at LinkedIn, and I saw Charity's picture. She was basically highlighted on the PwC LinkedIn website for encouraging your young girls to write books, and she had hosted an event. And I thought to myself, wow, this was meant to be. I see this today, and I'm going to speak to Charity in a bit. So welcome, Charity. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being here. So a couple of things about Charity. She is one of the very few female partners of this consulting firm in Zambia. And just for those of us who aren't aware, PwC is one of the largest consulting firms in the world, is very well renowned, and is one of the top 5 in the world. She is an expert in accounting, auditing, financial management, and business planning. She's also the country assurance and diversity and inclusion leader, and leads this effort in Zambia. So with that, Charity, I would love for you to say a few words. And again, thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Gitu. Afternoon, morning, evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here. One of the things that I have a passion about is to inspire, to speak to young people. So for me, this is a great opportunity to actually to see such a large group of young ladies who have a bright future ahead and who can do anything. I mean, hearing the stories already about just our previous speakers is I'm hoping is inspiring, but I can be a part of that as well. So obviously, me being here, I am an alumni. I was at Caritas. I can see when I look at the picture there, it brings such pleasant memories. Having been there myself. So when I think about where I have come from, when I was at Caritas, even when I think about my background, family background, so I came to Caritas right in grade 8, so grade 7 actually. We were the last grade 7s. And we came in at grade 8. And when I came in, I mean, and when I came in at that moment, just settling in and all that, a major change for me happened, and my mom passed away. So, and the reason I'm mentioning this is really for us to think about things that just happen in life and how you handle that. Because for me, when my mom passed away, it completely changed a number of things. It even changed our livelihoods, because at that point in time, my dad had retired and was mostly, we had a chicken run. My mom at that point had been a headmistress, so that we had 2 incomes. So you can imagine, all of a sudden, you have one parent, and then just everything changed, because then there was that one source of income. But so so we ended up having started from a comfortable lifestyle to then things got difficult. We had some of the things that we had gotten used to. We had to let go of them. But one of the things that I do recall that my dad kept on emphasizing was that school was not going to be compromised at all. So if we didn't eat bread, but we could eat porridge, but at least we went to school. That was the most important thing. And so we came to school. One of the things, I mean, we at that point we got used to, you'd always go to a shop and buy juice. Now you had to make orange juice from trees, but you had something. But it kept on, Dad kept on hammering into our minds that school, work hard and all that. So for me, I was a top student. I was one of those that I naturally gifted in that sense. So I did continue to work hard despite my change in circumstances, such that by the time I did come to grade 12, did not do the greatest in terms of what Dad expected from me, obviously, but I did well. And then at that point, I had to decide which course I needed to pursue. I loved math and excelled in math. And so when I had to pick which course I needed to go to, I picked accountancy. So I'm an accountant. And so I went to Copperbelt University. And so first time, lots of freedom. I mean, that will be your next stage, young girls, that you were not in boarding school. So I was never in a boarding school. So this, when you leave, a number of you, like a lot of us, that was the first time that freedom, like now I'm not home, nobody is watching over me. And so what does that, so I can do all those things that I would not do. But basically I had two choices at that point in time. It was either play hard or study hard. And those were my plain choices. And to my mind, one of the things that I did remember at that point is the emphasis that my dad, and even the kind of values that were instilled in me when I was at Caritas. It is, why should I all of a sudden start to be the play hard? I was disciplined. I didn't need to be this person that when I look at a number of other girls that came along from different schools, they partied hard. And I made a choice that I'm here for a particular reason. I'm here to study. That is the main thing. And I want to have a great future, because even when, as part of the messages that Dad even continued to is you can have a different life, a good life, because of the decisions that we make. So when I did go to Copperbelt University, that is the decision that I made, that my life was not going to be a play hard. My life was going to be a study hard. And that's exactly what I did. It was a 4-year course. When I even think about it, in that first year, there were girls that came in with 6 points. I didn't get 6 points. A number of those that got 6 points were actually expelled in that first year. So either expelled or even did not make it to second year, because you thought, well, now I'm a brilliant person, I can still play hard and still succeed in my academics. They actually failed the first year and were excluded from university. I didn't. I did fantastic in my first year. My second year was much harder. That was the first time I ever had a mark that I had never seen in my life. But what did that do? For me, it just encouraged me to work harder. And what that did in terms of my work ethics is that I got a scholarship as part of, because of my grades in the second year, and the scholarships were for the top 3 students, and I was a top student. So I got a scholarship in my second year, and also you had to qualify for that same scholarship in the following year. So I got a scholarship and I qualified for the scholarship as well. And I was basically beating the guys and all that. So girls, we can do this. I mean, I was in a class where we were hundreds, literally hundreds, but I still was tops. I didn't go in there to say, well, now there are guys here. It was an accountancy course. I'd never even done bookkeeping. So it was the first time that I was even touching a debit and a credit. But for me, it was, what was I here for? And I was here because I wanted a better future. And I needed to make sure that I put in my all. And so when I was done, after 4 years done, I joined, and then after that, I joined PwC, because another thing that I was very sure about is, and very focused about, is I wanted to do a job that will make me my own boss. Yeah, and I was very clear in my mind. I did not want to be in a job where I would be under someone. And so when I picked, I had basically I gave myself 2 options, to be honest. But I did get into PwC. And being partner, I'm actually an owner of the business, and which is why for me it was really appealing. But in all that, getting to be partner has not been one of those that you just get handed over to. It has been a whole journey that has been founded on principles of discipline, principles of hard work, and just putting my all into whatever I do. And one of the things that working at PwC has also brought out is that I'm a trained accountant, but in all the years that I've been there, I've had to adapt. I've had to adapt to being technologically savvy. I've had to adapt to being a full accountant. I've had to adapt to being so many different things. So on the one, and what that has done even along the years is therefore that I found that I can do anything and be with anyone and have a proper conversation, because I've become an expert in what I'm able to do. So on the one hand, I'm a full accountant. On the other hand, I have got, for instance, some clients that I serve that are in the medical field. So I can actually have a medical health conversation because when I set my mind to do something, I set my mind to do it well. And so it's not been a journey that has been easy. I mean, one of the things that when Gitu was introducing me is I am the only female as a female partner. And one of the things that in this profession, they are lots of female that start, but by the time that you get to manager and above, we are very few. And what are the challenges that come along there? It's because then you have got for instance, we've got several roles. I've got to be a mother, I've got to be a wife, but I've also got to be a professional. And how do I just balance all those three off? The other thing that I've had to also deal with is there are just certain jobs then that you think, well, that you even see men don't expect you to be there. I am in boardrooms and I'm having conversations with much older men, even as well as just several, those with much more expertise. But so sometimes there have been occasions where you can see that there's a bit of being undermined, but that has not stopped me in terms of me being ambitious and me being able to achieve, because I know what I am capable of. And so I do what I'm capable of. I know where I'm an expert in my field. So I'm able to confidently speak about my field. And I don't speak because I am a woman. I speak because I am an expert in my field. And so I can speak up confidently and do what I need to do at any particular point in time. And so I can hold my conversation. I'm the only woman, but that doesn't make me think about it that way. I just think I'm a partner. Oh, and I'm the only female, yes, but I'm a partner first. And so what that also has done is then given me the opportunity to do so many different roles. So you see that when I'm a partner, but I'm a country assurance leader. So I lead the largest what we call business unit, but it's the largest department within PwC in Zambia. And so I'm responsible for over 100 people that I oversee, and that oversee our clients that we're growing. I'm also responsible. I'm also, one of the things that I had recently been appointed to as well is that I'm the first Zambian to be appointed to the African Governance Board. That's the governance board that oversees PwC in Africa. Would I have even thought about any of these things or any of these appointments when I was seated in the Caritas hall like you young ladies? No. But where has all this come from? It has come from work ethics. It has come from values. It has come from, at the end of the day, that it pays to be focused. It pays to work hard. It pays to just be you and do what you are good at in whatever circumstances that get thrown at you. And then you just make sure that you excel. I could have sympathized, I could have been miserable when my life changed. And if I even talked about other things that have happened along the way in my career journey, it would be another couple of more minutes. I won't even touch into that. But life throws things at us, and life will always throw surprises at us. How you come out successful is how you respond to them. They're just opportunities for you, for every one of us to do better and better. And I'm grateful for where I am. I am glad to be a partner. It's where I wanted to be, and it gives me opportunities to do so many things. And even this opportunity to be here to speak to you grade 12s is part of that, and I am so happy to be here. So thank you, Gitu. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Charity. That was very powerful. You know, a couple of things that really resonated with me that I just want to call out. So I think for you, I can tell that your father was a big influence in how you have shaped your life. And I just want to say, you know, as young women, as we're growing up, we often have these authority figures around us. They could be teachers, they could be parents, they could be older siblings who are trying to impart their point of view on us. And we often think of them as, oh, this is just so annoying. Why do they keep saying this? But I think one of the key takeaways as I was listening to Charity was, please listen to them. Even if at the time that what they're telling you isn't really clicking, just take it in, because there will be a time it'll come in handy and you will need it. Like, for example, in Charity's case, the fact that education was at the heart and center of what was the most important thing, it is the key for where she is today. So that, I think, is a key takeaway. Listen to those around you. They have something important to say. And then I'd say making the right choices. She had an opportunity to party or to go focus on her career, and she made the right choice. And I think having that foundation and principle and discipline to make those right choices is a key to all of our success. And then I'd say gender does not matter. And Charity has proven that you know, we are not defined by our gender, but by our knowledge and what we bring to the table when we come into any conversation or any room. And I think that's at the heart of and part of what we want to promote in this conference as well, is that anything is possible and you're capable of doing anything you want to do, as long as you have discipline, hard work, and passion behind it, and leveraging your community, which we are all a big part of. So thank you to all the speakers who have introduced themselves. Before I go into asking questions, I would like to give the audience a chance to ask any questions that they may have. So in the assembly hall, are there any questions you would like to ask the speakers before we continue? We have another 30 minutes together, so I just want to give everyone a chance to see if there are any questions.
Maybe give them a minute or so to speak to the neighbor.
Sure.
This is what I wanted to say. So Gitu, are you there? One
Yes.
of them is. Please take your seat.
Yes, please proceed.
Also, just a minute. Do you want to be seen? Okay. It's a bit dark, but anyway.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, so my question is, how do you manage to set your mind towards something, even though you have so many things going on, but then how do you just manage to set your mind towards something?
Great. So I'll just repeat the question. So what is your name? Could you please tell us your name?
My name is Victoria.
Thank you for the question, Victoria. So Victoria is asking us, how do we set our mind to something and find that passion and courage to pursue that thing? So I will maybe start with Sibu. Maybe you can give us your thoughts.
Yes, so thank you, Victoria, for that question. Can you hear me, Gita, on your side?
Yes. Yes, we hear
So
you.
at this stage, I'm sorry, the lights have gone. So anyway, so Victoria, maybe to just start with, if you know what you want, right? You hear a lot of noises around you. So noises are like people trying to go for parties, trying to go for this, that, let's go and play, but you really want to do something. So it's something you have to practice around discipline, right? So this is what I want to do. In order to achieve it, what do I need to do? So for example, if I want to do well in a test, I need to know that, of course, I need to make time to read. I need to make time to focus. If I don't understand, ask for help. But at the same time, if I go home, there'll be a lot of pressures. And, for girls, I know sometimes, like my mother used to send a lot. So for example, do this, do that. And I'm thinking, no, I want to do this. So you need to be able to say, and your friends, of course, the peer pressure is worse. I think mostly our parents care for us and they really want us to do well. So, but friends sometimes can also be a distraction. So you need to be able to say, in order to achieve this, I need to block the noise, and the noise are all the other temptations, and focus. It's very hard. I mean, we've all been tempted, and I'm sure even amongst the panelists, I mean, we've been in all sorts of things, but what I can give you as takeaway is to fight the pressure to just do things to please others. I always ask myself what I'm doing, how does it help me to go forward? Am I doing it because just my friend is doing it and it doesn't really make sense? Or am I doing it because it's something that will add value to my performance, to what I'm doing, to my health? Because remember, you also have to take care of your health. You need to sleep enough, but you also need to find time to study. So you just need to, focus on that. I think that's the only tip I can give you is love yourself, be selfish with your time, even though the sister might disagree. Don't be selfish with your time. But I mean, what I mean in that is that, time for you to do something, when it's time to do something, you have to focus on that. And in the Bible, actually, there's a chapter that talks about seasons for everything. There's time to play, there's time to do everything else. But when you have to focus on something, you have to dedicate that time. We also get those principles from the Bible as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sibu. So Victoria, I think Sibu has answered the question well. One thing I wanted to just leave you with is having that end vision for why you're doing what you want to do is very important. And sometimes it's these simple acts of, like, let's say you have an exam and you want to get the best grade or the best percentage points in that exam. Maybe just having a vision, a paper with that goal written very close to where you sleep, where you are studying, so that you're always focused on your end goal. And having that focused vision will help you make sure you're going on the right path. So just keeping those things around you that will keep your path clear to where you want to go. And that includes your friends too. Find like-minded friends who are focused on similar things as you are. And that will help you be very clear on what your goals are, what your vision is, and how you can get there. So would any of the other panelists like to add to this before we proceed?
I think you've both answered very well, Gitu and Sibu. Sibu, my mom also used to send a lot, so I can identify with that, yeah? So we still have to do domestic work, but I think what's important is actually resolving what you want your future to look like, just like Gitu has said. So it means, you will not be distracted by what everybody else is doing. I mean, even as adults, we have to deal with peer pressure. I remember when I was doing my MBA, there was always, parties happening or birthday parties for my children. But because I needed to finish in a given time frame, I said no to all these things. And sometimes, like Sibu was saying, you need to be selfish with your time. Sometimes it might, step on other people. Some friends might not like you, but that's fine. You are building your own future, because you just need to remember that you are the one that builds your own future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for being courageous and asking the question. We appreciate that. Are there any other questions in the audience?
Yes, they are coming.
Excellent.
Good afternoon.
Hello, what's your name?
Mapalo.
Mapalo. Very nice to meet you, Mapalo. Please go ahead and ask your question.
My question is, how did your religious atmosphere in Caritas affect your lives, and how has it built you to where you are now?
That's a wonderful question. Priscilla, maybe I can start with you on this one.
Yeah, sure. So Caritas taught us a lot of moral behaviors. Spiritually, we are built, we are given values which we're supposed to go by. As a Christian, what are you supposed to do as a Christian? Your moral behavior should show that you are a Christian. That one thing made us have integrity. Make sure that whatever you are doing, you do it as though everyone is seeing you. That has helped us to even move and to be where we are. To be principled as well. When you are principled, you put in what you are supposed to do first. And as a Christian, you're supposed to be principled, because many other times when you have people who are not principled and they come your way, they want to distract you, they want to sweep you from what you want to do. But as you've been taught as a Christian, what do you put first? Do you put your friends first? Do you put God first? Do you put yourself first? When you put God first, then God is going to show you, God is going to help you to move in the way that you should move. Morally, you are made to accept the situation that are morally accepted. You do away with things that are not morally accepted. So as a Christian, the values that we got from Caritas, we got values that are highly valued, that even right now, when you stand to do something, you do it with integrity, you do it with honesty, you do it with passion, you do it with love, compassionate, all those things. That is what we were taught. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. That was wonderful. And Mapo, I'd just like to add, one of the key reasons I got involved in this alumni association and why I'm here today is because one of the things I learned at Caritas was do unto others what you would like others to do to you. And this is a way of paying forward and saying thank you for the education that this community gave me. It allowed me to build a career and be where I am today. And I want to share that with all of you. And I want to bring the power of this community to the school. And that is an example of how Caritas has helped me. And I always have that in the back of my mind is be kind, be respectful. When Sibu was introducing herself, she had that nice chart that said, respect is at the heart of what she does. And so, for example, that is something I learned at Caritas, is respecting others. And that is one way that you can apply what you learn in school into your own future. And as you start to think about your career, where you want to go, what you want to do, I think these are some core values that guide us along our journey. So before we proceed, would anyone from the panel like to add to that?
Maybe just one thing. I mean, when I think about even the time that I was there, I thought some of our teachers were too hard. But when I think about it, the discipline that was just instilled in us, I mean, it's a value that I've taken along because of that. So I would not, I mean, even my example, when I was telling my story, when it did help even in terms of my decisions on whether I was going to play hard or study hard. That was part of the things that as part of my learning from Caritas, had started to already instill in that. So such that it was not as difficult a decision, because I had been taught that personal discipline is an important thing. I mean, when we had one of our late Mr. Msole, when he walked by, you just knew you dropped everything, so it's just some of those things that you just know, I shouldn't do this. It then carries along the way. So such that it just changed yeah, just helped in terms of how we should look at life. Yeah. Thanks.
Very true. Very true. Great. Thank you, Mapo, for asking the question. That was a wonderful question. Well, we hope we helped you answer your question. All the best to you. Any other questions in the audience?
Yes.
Hello, what's your name?
I'm Salifia.
Salifia, please go ahead.
My question is, how do you handle your personal problems aside from friends and other things that distract you as a teenager or you're still in school? We have things like family issues that take away that distract us from school. Like, let's say your family is having a hard time financially, or your parents are having a breakup. How do you, as a pupil, focus on school while you have such draining things dragging you back?
It's a very good question. Thank you for the question. So, Sarah, maybe we can start with you on this one.
I thought Charity was going to do a better job there because she sort of had a challenge, but I'll have a go at it. So so the first thing is to recognize that it's always difficult when you're having all these challenges, that you have to deal with as a young child, or as a teenager. That can be quite distracting. But I think there's quite some structure. I'm sure the school does have some form of support system. I know that during our times, we did have some form of support system where you can go and speak to somebody, maybe a social counselor, just so that, they can help you and support you through the journey. But also just to remain resilient, hey? Not to allow these problems to distract you from, achieving your goals. So yeah, like Sipo said, I came from a family where my mom, yes, she valued school, but once I got home, I had to do domestic work, and that was quite a difficult situation for me to navigate. But even with that, I still remained resilient. So I still did my domestic work, but I still committed myself to doing a school. Hence, I had to put in extra hours. When everybody knocked off at 4 o'clock, I remained behind for an hour to study, fortunately with other girls. On Saturdays, to make up for that time, because we didn't have help. We didn't have a maid. And now that I'm older, I understand why she was sending to have 7 kids and you have to do all the domestic work is difficult. So she expected more hands for us to be on board. But for me as a kid, I thought that was quite distracting. So it's for you to be able to navigate, not forgetting the bigger goal of your life, and knowing that whatever you're doing, you're working towards making a better life for yourself through your education. So yeah, so seek help would be my advice, either through a social counselor, I'm hoping, or even at church. If you go to a church where there's support group, try and do that. And maybe even an adult in the community, an aunt, whatever the support structure looks like in there. But in the end, just remain quite resilient through those challenges of life, because, in the end, you still have to build your life. In spite of all these challenges, you have to push yourself through. Thank you.
Yes, very, very good answer, Sarah. So just one additional thought that I wanted to share is, a lot of our speakers said today, where you are today does not define your future. And I know that from your seat, that might be difficult to picture because you're young, you're just about to graduate. But please remember, what you're going through now does not define who you will be in the future. That is for you to build. And I think the community support is really important. When we were, grade 12 students, we did not have very, very many options to seek out strong women leaders. And you have that option. And so, you know, reaching out, asking for help, and having that future vision in mind at all times, knowing that this is a temporary situation, difficult times come, but then they will pass, and you have the support to go do bigger, better things. I think having that mindset will really help you get through those times when things are not going to the best of your preference. So that's what I'd like to say. And I see, Sibu, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yes. So in addition to what you say, I just wanted to say, you know, that maybe also one of the things to Salifi is that to think about also, you know, when it's really tough, yeah, you can also, you know, prayer helps a lot. That's what I found, you know, it's more like talking to yourself, but I think prayer, talking to God about some of the issues, because there are some things which are difficult also to discuss with your friends. But you really need to be able to find somebody in the school, you know, through the sisters, you know, it's at least a neutral point where you feel safe to talk about some of the issues. And I get to say is, you know, everything does come to an end eventually, but it's very hard when you're the one going through it. So I'd like to encourage you, you know, to just find that point. But the one thing I really enjoy is that, you know, when things are really tough, I enjoy the music. I really enjoy also working with other kids as well, because that I find helps a lot, you know, when you can give to other people instead of just thinking about your own situation, you know, finding a community at the church, doing something, say in the Sunday school, you know, playing music. I don't know if the school still has music, but during my time we had a piano, I remember, but I don't know, you know, if you have that, but if you don't have, that's fine. You know, you can still go to a church, do something to distract attention, just focusing on your situation, how bad it may be. It helps if you help others to feel better as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sibu. Would any of the other speakers like to add?
Yes, maybe just to add on one thing. You said Sadithia? You said Sadithia? Okay, Satyanji, just one thing that I wanted to add, most of the things we've spoken about, is to accept the situation passing through. When you accept the situation, and like the previous speaker said, accept the situation and leave it into God's hands. Let me give you a practical example of what happened. While it's there, you know, it's not everyone who will be with you, even when you are passing through difficult times. Try to confide in people who will help you. I remember at one point in grade 9, I had nothing, I had no washing powder. And you know those uniforms, the color of that uniform, when it is dirty, it will really show that it is dirty. I looked at missing school. Should I miss school because of this? I said, no, let me just go like this. So when I went to school, on the queue, as we were queuing up, going in the classes, one of my friends made a show of herself. She really shouted at me, getting everyone's attention to look at me. She said, you are really a dirty girl. Can't you see that your uniform is dirty? Can't you wash your uniform? And that person who spoke to me in that was the only daughter of the parents. And I was coming from a family. I was the firstborn in the family of 7. And my parents were not staying with me. They were staying in some farms 9 miles away. I was alone. I was renting an apartment. I didn't have money for washing powder. I didn't know what to do, but then I just decided to accept the situation. It pained me. I felt so ashamed, but I had to accept that situation. Then coming into the issue of finances, I think I'm one of the beneficiaries from Caritas. There is a setup there where when you are lacking finances, when you don't have, I think there is a setup there. They can come to you, they can help you. Just confide in one of them. The Sisters of Charity helped me. Confide in one sister, go to them, look for a counselor. Like one of the speakers said, you have some counselors there. Talk to them, they will be able to help you. So be focused, accept first the situation that you are passing through, and then be focused. That is just what I wanted to tell you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Very powerful. Thank you so much for the question. We hope it helped.
Thank you.
Are there other questions in the audience?
One more.
Great. Hi, what's your name?
Joy.
Joy? Thank you, Joy. Please ask your question.
What are some of the tips and strategies one can use when picking a career when they have so many careers in their mind?
Oh, that's a great question. It was actually one that I was going to ask. So I think this is, I will go to each speaker on this one because it's one that I had also planned to ask. So the question is, there are so many career options. What's your advice on where to focus and what are some great options? The world is changing, the world is evolving. We're headed towards advancement in each field. And what would your advice be career-wise as the grade 12s graduate and start to build their career? So maybe just in order, I'll start with you, Charity, and then move to the next speaker. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Gitu. Hi, Joy. I mean, firstly, I always start from what are you passionate about? Because one of the things that I have is really my ethos, and even in terms of the way that I see people around and even life around, is if you don't, we spend so much time in our careers, in fact we spend the most time working. So if you're doing something that you're not passionate about, it's even possible that you will not enjoy it, and therefore you not give your all. So is it something that you will enjoy to do? I mean, I start from that. But I guess another angle though is when you look at the way that the world is changing, a lot of things are technological based. So what careers, we start to think of what careers will technology not take away? Because to Gitu and Sarah, who are very much in technology, we're talking about AI, and so a lot of jobs at the end of the day will actually go away because a machine will actually do it. So what jobs are there that human beings will have to do? Because for instance, even from say medicine is changing so much. Machines will do a lot of that, but a doctor will still be involved because there's a personal touch and all that. So I'd also think about it in that way. If on the other hand you do like IT, then do that as well. So I'd do generally in those areas. Think about what you're passionate about. If you love technology, that is like the biggest thing that is going around. But technology will not do everything, and therefore, what are some of those jobs that will certainly not go away because technology will take them over? In which case, then you revert back to what you're passionate about. So, like for me, I loved math, and so which is why I turned out to be. Which is why I chose accountancy, and I love what I do. So that would be some of my thoughts.
Thank you, Charity. Great. And Sarah, please go ahead.
Yes, so just to add on now what has already been spoken, I would also want to bring in the context perspective as well. So yes, not negating, building on what Charity has said, I think there's also a place to look at careers where you can easily get employment, I think, depending on your context. So I think about myself, like you, Priscilla, I'm the firstborn. And so for me, getting into a career that was going to easily give me a job was also important. So, once I couldn't get into university, you know, I could have gone to a college and do accounts, but at our time, it was just difficult. If you had a diploma in accounting, which I was accepted for, to find a job. So my next option was either teaching or nursing, you know, so I chose teaching simply because employability was there. But like my dad kept saying, with teaching, you can always build yourself up. And for me, so I went into my career and I only discovered that I loved teaching once I was in it. I never knew I had a passion for teaching. Once I went for training, I realized I was a born teacher. I loved teaching, but on top of that, you know, my career has changed. I've been able to build. So think of careers that you can easily get a job depending on your context again. Yes, so passion, but also where it's easy to get employment, and also careers where you can easily also build on top. You know. I think that would be a consideration for me.
Thank you, Sarah. Very, very well said. Sibu.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that. So yeah, so maybe on my side, just to add that if you look at the way things are going and the way the technology is changing, and it's not just technology, the world itself, there's a lot of pressure for things, is that, you know, whatever career you go into, you have to look at it as a baseline to start something else. So I normally, you know, because we work a lot with students who come here to do degrees, and we have a lot of people are getting degrees but are not employable. Actually, they don't find jobs. So I would want to encourage you, you know, to work on the basics, and the basics are making sure that you do well in your key subjects that you need. You need to know, you know, your maths, of course. Being a mathematician, I would support you in that in terms of maths, and making sure you do well in the basic subjects that you like. If you're focusing on the science side, you have to do well in that. And then normally, if you don't understand, which I find is also a very common thing among students, is not asking for help. It's important to get the help that you need and to ask for that help, even if it means extra lessons. That's critical. And then if you go into a career, you should really be thinking about, yes, I go into this career, I spend some time working in order to get the experience. But the idea should be to be able to start your own enterprise, looking at what are in my location, and you heard somebody who spoke about the context. What are the key challenges that people go through, and what solutions can I contribute to, right? As an entrepreneur, it can be social entrepreneurship or something else. But I think that, you know, the focus on being agile, changing with the times is important, because most jobs, of course, get phased out, but the area to adapt and to continue learning, reading and writing. And you've seen that amongst this panel, people have continued to read beyond their first qualification, beyond their first degree, beyond the grade 12 matric, because sometimes you do need to adjust, and sometimes you can't really predict in advance where you might end up. But the important thing, again, is love and passion, and whatever task you are given, do it the best way that you can. And I think then you'll find your passion one day, and then you can go in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Sibu. Priscilla, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Most of the things have been said. I would want to encourage also even to venture into entrepreneurship this time, because most of the things, most of the jobs, employment opportunities this time, is very hard to find employment. Aim to become your own boss, like our speaker said earlier on, that she aimed to wanting to become her own boss. In all these that they've mentioned, like in the health sector, in the education sector, one can be their own boss. You can aim high to become your own boss. In the health sector, you can be your own director. You can make a health institution. You can have a health institution. In the teaching fraternity, you can become, you can own a school. Entrepreneurship in agriculture, and in the energy sector as well. Somebody mentioned about the energy sector. In this, I think it should be Cebu in South Africa. All these load shedding things, if one ventures into the energy sector, I think you are good to go with that. All those, I think that is what I can say.
Thank you, Priscilla. So I think, you know, everybody has touched upon this. The only one thing I will add to this answer, Joy, is that I think the key thing is to be a person who wants to learn, wants to grow, and then identifying what are your areas of interest and following those and never giving up. You know, I think a lot of what everybody said, it was about staying on task and just keep trying. But you will see that the world is evolving, and sure, technology is playing a key role in many careers, but really the world is your oyster. You can do anything you want to do. And this community, I'm going to speak for my fellow speakers here as well. We're all here for you. If we can be of any help in answering questions, and as you think about your future career options, please do not hesitate to reach out. The school can help you get in touch with us, and we will be happy to share what we know in our area of expertise to guide you in what courses might make sense, what type of education, and if it's entrepreneurship that you want to pursue. I know that within the Caritas alumni, there are many successful entrepreneurs as well, and they would be happy to tell you how do you go about taking a business idea and launching it, and how do you stay successful in that space. And keep in mind, as you're young, you can take risks. Rewards are often equal to the amount of risk where you're willing to take. Your young years are about taking as much risk as you can take. And the more risk you take, the more rewards you'll see. So take risks in areas of interest, and you'll see the rewards come through, and then you can take those learnings and build a career for yourself. So with that, I know we're at time, and I'm having so much fun. I don't want this to end, but I know we all have lives outside of this. So perhaps I will go into my closing remarks. Thank you to everyone, for making the time to be here. I know it takes a lot of time and just passion to be here, because I know we all have lives outside of this. So I appreciate that. And I just want to call out a few special people who made this day happen. They're not in the forefront today, but they were our key drivers, one of which is Maureen Moyo. She helped keep us on track, kept us organized, and kept us on task to make sure we had everything behind the scenes taken care of to get us to this point. The other person is Valerie. Valerie has been very instrumental in connecting us to the right people and making sure we're approaching this event in the right manner. We also have Amy, Elizabeth, and Tamara. Tamara has been very helpful in making sure that we're advertising this event, that we had the right format for everything. And so I'd just like to thank Tamara as well. And it's also Tamara's birthday, so happy birthday, Tamara. Hope you have a blessed year ahead as you enjoy this day. And we are launching this conference. We hope to continue this as a series. So we would like to come back with another amazing list of topics, with areas that the community wants to learn about. So please reach out to us. Let us know what you want to see happen. We're here, we're engaged. We want to do more, and we're very passionate. We believe that there's a very powerful community here in the Caritas Alumni Association. We want to make things happen. So we hope to see you soon. And I would like to thank Sister Chileshe here and Mr. Katondo for allowing us to use their time and connecting us to the students. It's been wonderful hearing from them. And I can't thank you enough for letting us do this. And in closing, would you like to say anything, Sister Chileshe or Mr. Katongo, before we close the call?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll let Elizabeth go first. One of the organizers with you.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Fine, and how are you?
Good, thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You too, Sarah, Charity, Priscilla, Patricia, is it Estebeso? Thank you very much for this opportunity that are coming. You know, it's a very long journey. I can say. Thank you. Let's continue with this same spirit. And girls here are very happy to see you. That once you are here, and I'm also very happy. I'm physically here and I'm able to see everything that is happening. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for all of your help in making this come together. Great, great. All right, Sister Chilesha, any other words from your side?
Okay, one of the students would like to say a word of thanks.
Oh, great, great.
Hi.
Hello, what's your name?
Desi.
Welcome, please, go ahead.
Thank you for organizing this conference with us. We've learned a lot and we promise that we're going to put everything that you guys have taught us to use. It won't go in vain.
Oh, thank you. That means the world to us. That is everything. Thank you so much. We are so appreciative of your kind words. And we look forward to seeing the most wonderful things you guys are going to do. Everyone who has spoken today, you're so eloquent, you're so well spoken, and I'm so proud of you for what you're doing. And I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, speakers. I can't thank you enough for taking the time. And I just want to call out that to be a speaker on this platform, each of these speakers has paid funds to be here today. So let's acknowledge that. And a very big thank you from me to you for not only giving us your time, your knowledge and your expertise, but also your funds to help support the school. And I'm super grateful for that. So thank you, everyone, again. Thank you, Jackie, for keeping us live here on the platform. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to our next event. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
I think, sisters.
Thank you so much, Gita.
Before you go.
Yes, please, sister.
I did say something at the beginning, but I feel that it's worthwhile saying it now. The very fact that we have listened to the great stories. Those were very inspiring and amazing stories.
Yes.
Even though myself, I was there a long time ago, as you can say, the gray hair, but I was still inspired. So Sarah, Priscilla, Charity, if I left her, then Shibusu, you did a great job. Then yourself, Gitu, you moderated it very well. And a big thank you also to Jackie for providing the platform. So thank you, people. You have made our day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Chilesha. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it deeply. I'm full of love. I'm just very, very happy we got to do this, and I can't wait to do the next one. So thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Gita. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.